Aloha from Wild West Garage. Got my nice shirt on tonight. Just got back from birthday dinner. My brother-in-law took my wife and I out for dinner tonight for my birthday. You know, the guy that's got his Porsche on my hoist. So thank you, Simon. In other news, 3 days ago I became a grandpa for the first time, and still haven't seen the little gal yet, but he's healthy. And mom and dad just came home today, so we weren't allowed to go visit her in the hospital because of the COVID thing. But anyways, looking forward to that. Over the moon. Anyways, as you can see behind me here, this is looking pretty done. So I'm going to turn the camera around and show you what I did and talk about what I'm going to do. So you've already seen this side, but today I finished the welding off here and down in here. And then I didn't like the way this was transitioning into this piece, so there's a bit of a kink right here, so I took a zip disc and I made a slit down in here, all the way to there, I guess. And I kind of tapped this down so it's nice and smooth transition now. And I cleaned up these welds along the top. Cleaned up my cut I made here. Oh, it was over here. Clean that up, ground that all down. And I got the other side all done, welded in. That turned out good as well. So on this side I made a little, it was pretty tight fitting right here. So I made another zip disc cut up to about there, and then I tapped that over and welded it in as well. So now this fits really, it's looking really good. Everything lines up nice. It's good clearance all around. Gap's a little, yeah, there's a bit of a wide gap there. But you know, I do have to put a little bit of filler on this just to tune it up a bit. So I'll take care of that when I do that. This side turned out, I think, the nicest, really. This gap's a little wavy here, so like I said, I'll fix that up. So now all I have left to do here is extend this lip here for the weather stripping down onto here. And I realized this isn't sticking out far enough all the way along here, and especially in the middle. It's this part here is wider to match the trunk lid, so I got to bring this lip out. So I'm just going to make a piece that folds back over on itself. See, this has a folded edge here, so I'm just going to duplicate that for down here, and then I'll just tack it on top of this, right on top of these welds here, all along there, and then I'll bring that out. Otherwise, if I put a weather strip on here, it's not gonna be close enough to the trunk lid, and it won't seal along the bottom. That's kind of important for like exhaust fumes. So anyways, that's it. I got to do just get this lip on here, and this area will all be done. And then I've got to take care of this. I am gonna cut this out and weld a piece in there. But then all along here, like, I think there's a couple holes up there, so I'm just gonna clean this all out and, you know, get it all cleaned up as good as I can, and then I'm just gonna put a little skim of fiberglass filler over those areas, and I'll paint this really well, and it's gonna hold up. I just can't I can't spend a whole lot more time on this thing. It's, you know, I could spend another 2 or 3 days on cutting pieces out of this channel here and welding it in, but I'm not prepared to do that at this point. So we'll just do a little preservation work on that part, you know, and and most importantly, we're going to get rid of this this weather stripping that's been plugging this up so it can't dry out. I'm going to put a proper weather strip on here that doesn't fill in this area. It'll just be here. I guess it'll just be like a push-on seal with a little kind of a dome seal on top of it, I guess. I think I can get that at a local supplier here. So yeah, so this is coming to a close here. Once I get this done, that's it. That's it for this car. Then I just have to do a little bit of painting, and I got to paint the driver's door. I'll have to paint this down here, of course, and then it's reassembly time. This car will be ready to go. I thought I'd better explain how I made this piece. So this was just an offcut, I think, from the piece I made that goes in below the trunk. So I explained, like I explained earlier, it's a little dark over here, sorry. I need to extend this this lip here for the weather stripping. So anyways, this was just a chunk that I cut off that after, like, when I was after I tipped it at some point. So because it's so narrow, I couldn't really tip it in the bead roller. So what I did was I just I have the dies there set up to do an offset. So I just ran it through along a line that I held this up against the trunk opening, scribed a line on it. You can see the Sharpie mark there. Ran it through the bead roller to get the step in it, just as a guide to for the bend. And then I just brought it over here into the vise max, and I just kept gradually bending it over with these what do you want to call them, folding pliers. So I'm just, you know, gradually bending it over and moving along, bending a little bit. And I think I went back and forth maybe like 3 times until I got it at about a 45. And then I went along with the slapper, just, you know, slapping it over until it got to 90. And so now, yeah, of course, slapping it and just working it back and forth through here. Just left the vise loose enough so I could just pull it back and forth like this. So now that I got to this stage, I'm going to have to put it down on a flat surface and then use a like a flat-faced hammer. I'm going to fold this right over on itself. So maybe I'll try and show you how I did that instead of having to explain it after the fact. So I'm just getting started on folding this over on itself. And so none of my dollies have a sharp sort of edge, narrow edge on them. So this is an excavator tooth. Anyways, these things are pretty cheap. I think I paid, like, if I'm not mistaken, $15 for this or something. So it's nice and pointy. So I just took a flapper disc and kind of cleaned it up a little bit. You know, if you wanted to, you could smooth this whole surface off real nice, or even this side, or all sides, and you could have a really nice little dolly. It fits nicely in your hand. At least it fits nicely in my hand. You could hold that up against the bottom of a panel and planish it out. It's got a nice shape to it. I'll probably do that, actually. Clean this up and make it into a nice tool. But anyways, for now, I just cleaned up the end, put a little bit of a radius in it, and rounded off the corners nicely. And so this is going to work for what I'm doing right here. So I'm just holding it into the corner and tapping it right here like that. Maybe I can show you a little bit of that. Because it's curved, you got to kind of hold it on the edge here to get it pressed down tight. That curve will come out of it as it comes over. You just want to do it gradually so you don't stretch the metal. It's kind of like putting a door skin on. You just want to go gradually along, back and forth. So I'll just come back to this end a bit. My way back this way. So you can see how that's going to work out. Here's the part all nicely folded over. Fold it over a little wider on that end, but that's okay. It's going to be, that'll be on the bottom. This is the top side. So what I did before I completely closed that off, I know I hammered it all the way down on this end, but I sprayed some of that zinc primer in there, and you can see it as I was pounding it, it was actually spraying out, and this thing will focus on there. It splattered all over that thing, but yeah, so there was lots of paint in there, so that'll help it not rust. And so this is ready to go on the car now. So this piece is all ready to be welded in. I've punched some holes along the edge so I can just plug weld it in there, simulate a spot weld. So now I got to make the piece that joins from here to here. And so if you watch the video of me making this, you'll remember that there were some extra pieces here that I cut off, and here's one of them. So I'm gonna fold this edge over, and then it'll be an L-shaped profile. Then I'll have to stretch this edge where my thumb is here to make it actually no, I want to, yeah, I'll have to stretch because it's got to go this way. So I'll have to stretch this edge so it'll curve. So it'll curve like that. So that's what I'm going to do now. it doesn't look like this is going to be quite wide enough, so I'm going to have to move the edge over a bit. So I'll just hang it over the edge of the I-beam, and then I can move it over. Probably do this a lot easier in the vise, actually. Back at the vise max. Just hold this up off the jaws a little bit. It's looking about right now. Yeah, I'm kind of glancing off with that. Put it back to the other side and finish that up. Need a little bit more on this end. I'm only going to need about 2/3 of this piece to do what I got to do. So now I need to strike it here to stretch this to make it curve. I'm going to use this hammer for the stretching. This isn't a body hammer, but it's got a cross peen on it. And so that's got narrow contact. So that's going to move, that's going to displace metal. I mean, I could stretch it using this, but I'd be beating on it for a long time because it spreads the blow out over a large area. It would do a kind of a nicer job, but it would take so long that I'd be sick of doing it after a while. This will really move the metal. Concentrate on the outside edge here. This part here hopefully will volunteer a little bit, and then I won't beat this up so much because I'm going to trim this off anyway. It is starting to curve. check back with you later. So after, I don't know, maybe 20 minutes of pounding on this thing, using a combination of different hammers, started using this one, just going along like this. A little bit of this. Curb face, so it's got narrow contact. You can see how, so that's how wide it was originally, and now it's, because of all this, hammering, it's made it go that way. If all this energy, if I could stop the metal from expanding that way somehow, and it all went into going this way and that way, this would turn a lot quicker, but there's no way to contain this along the edge here, so it just does, it's thinning out this way. But no, it's coming. I think I'm just about as far as I need to go now. So I'll just kind of clean this up a bit with some planishing with the flat face hammer, and I'll start trimming it to fit. So I've cut this piece out of that to fit here. So that's all ready to go in, welded, to be welded. And then I've got the leftover here, the leftover bit here that I'll have to trim and fit in there. So once it's all in there, I'll let you have a look at it. Mission accomplished. So there we go. That is the last, well, actually it's not the last of the metal work, but there's a little tab right about there on the where the fender bolts on that rotted off, so I got to fix that, but that'll be easy, certainly easy compared to this. But anyways, that's that. This is all done. Pretty pleased with how it worked out. I'm just gonna put this strap on the handle. It's gonna take off on me. Yeah, so have a good look at it. Also put this patching up here. I added a bit of weld on here because the gap was a little wide there. See, right in this area where the weld seam came up, it was kind of just in a bit there. So that's all nice now. And there's another little crack here that I talked about earlier. That's all fixed now. So yeah, there's those little pieces I was working on. And then nice. So I welded it solid all the way to about there. Kind of the same thing on this side, not quite as far. And then had my spot welds. Get them all ground down. So this is really This is way better now. It's good and strong. So and it looks factory-ish. I mean, this you know, continues down. It's got the same thickness. Before it was just one thickness. It's doubled over there now. So it just looks, factory. That's kind of the aim, right? So anyways, thanks for watching all this metal working. I'll make a little wrap-up video once everything's painted, and I might make some little videos along the way, you know, prepping it and that, but I'll definitely have a before and after video coming up when it's all done. So yeah, so paint this, paint the door, assemble a door, and clean up this drip rail here, and yeah, get it all painted up and out the door. So thanks for watching, and stay tuned for the finale.